Welcome to part 3 of MTC's 4-part series on smart parking structures. Parking structures are a valuable tool for being able to fit a lot of parking spaces into a small amount of space. As a motorist, there are few things that we enjoy more than seeing a lot of empty parking spaces in front of us. But as economists, we need to recognize that every empty parking space that's out there, particularly in a parking structure, is a wasted $25,000. So when we think about building parking structures, we need to recognize that they are expensive. And so more importantly than ever, we need to make sure that we build the right number of parking spaces, not too few and not too many. When we look at costs of building parking, we can assume that for a suburban surface lot, that it costs about $5,000 in construction. But when you factor in other costs like maintenance and land, the actual hard costs of providing parking varies from about $70 to $120 per month. In a downtown location where land is more expensive and construction costs may be more challenging, parking is more expensive. You can figure about $6,000 per space in construction and probably about $300 to $500 a month in order to cover all of your costs. Urban parking structures are a valuable solution where land values are high and where the need to provide a lot of parking is important. Still, they're expensive. It can cost about $30,000 per space to build an urban parking structure, and that results in a monthly cost of about $350 to $400 a month. Costs are a little bit lower in the suburbs, about $25,000 construction costs, and about $180 to $300 a month. Parking structures are an important part of many urban revitalization plans throughout the Bay Area, including the Petaluma Theater District and Petaluma Station Area master plans, which have front-loaded the development of parking structures at single locations in order to facilitate development around them. Development that would no longer come with dedicated on-site individual parking, but instead take advantage of well-managed shared supplies that are useful for the entire district. While parking structures are expensive, in urban locations where there is a market for paid parking, sometimes these parking structures can pay for themselves. In other locations, they'll need to be subsidized, so you'll want to make sure that subsidizing parking is the most effective way of attracting people to your location, as opposed to subsidizing other modes of transportation or investing in walkability or promotion. You'll also want to make sure that your parking facilities are very well managed. In fact, it is much more cost-effective to better manage your existing parking supply than it is to build new parking supply. It may also be more cost-effective to invest in other solutions like improved transit services or improved transit amenities or walkability, as downtown Santa Monica and Boulder, Colorado has done. You may also need to make difficult choices about whether to build parking or to build something that would better attract visitors to your downtown area, such as a plaza or a park. Indeed, you must make the choice about whether to invest in a few more levels of parking or other amenities like childcare or parks or landscape in your downtown. Indeed, many cities throughout the Bay Area have made these difficult decisions, and the most successful downtowns in our region are those that have chosen the right number of parking spaces. Again, not too many, but not too few. Another thing to consider is whether you can reduce parking demand by improving access to your station or downtown by other means. For example, at the Richmond Parkway transit station, what should be a 5-minute walk from this home to this rail station instead takes about 50 minutes because of the lack of connectivity of the street network. It may be more cost-effective to create a new pedestrian connection for this neighborhood to access the rail station than it is to build a parking structure so that they can do so. It's also important to keep in mind the negative spiral of high minimum parking requirements resulting in automobile-dependent landscapes and high demand for parking and making it more difficult for walking and biking to work in your community. And it's also important to realize that provided that parking is given away for free, parking demand will always be high. When users pay the actual cost of providing parking, many people will make the choice to walk or bike or take transit instead. And the result of that will be more economically vibrant, more ecologically sustainable, and more socially equitable communities.